The roses were still fresh, their petals a deep crimson, resting in a glass vase on the kitchen counter. Hours earlier, they had been a gift offered with a smile, a promise, the kind of gesture that says, "I love you." But by midnight, those same roses stood as silent witnesses to a horror no one expected. The kitchen that had once been filled with laughter was now a crime scene. Neighbors heard the screams. Police found the shattered lamp, the broken phone, and Natalie Harper lying motionless on the floor. And in that moment, the man who had brought the flowers, the man who said he loved her, was led away in handcuffs. This is the story of Natalie Harper, a young woman full of light, loved by everyone who knew her. A daughter, a sister, a teacher. Someone who believed in kindness, who believed in giving people the benefit of the doubt. But it's also the story of how that kindness was exploited, how charm turned into control, how love, or what looked like love, became possession, and how a pattern of red flags, ignored too many times, ended in the ultimate tragedy. Natalie was born on June 14th, 1994, in Greensboro, North Carolina. She grew up in a modest home on Oak Ridge Drive, the middle child of 3 sisters. She had a warm smile that put people at ease, and a gentle spirit that seemed to calm even the most restless child. From a young age, she showed an instinctive ability to care for others. Her mother, Angela, remembered the way Natalie would take charge of babysitting duties at family gatherings. She had this gift, Angela said. She could make a crying baby laugh. She could calm a toddler's tantrum. She just had a way of making people feel safe. Her love for children shaped her career path. She attended UNC Greensboro, majoring in early childhood education, and by her mid-20s, she was working at a local daycare. Parents adored her. One mother later said, "My son was terrified of school until Natalie became his teacher. She would sit with him, talk to him, sing to him, until the fear went away." She changed his life. Natalie carried that compassion into every part of her life. Outside of work, she had a passion for gardening. She spent weekends in her mother's backyard tending to hydrangeas and roses. Friends teased her for talking to plants as if they were people, whispering encouragement as she watered them. But Natalie believed that everything plants, children, people deserved patience and care. She believed in nurturing. She believed in second chances. That belief, tragically, extended to her relationships. In 2019, Natalie met Ethan Ross. He was tall, confident, and charismatic. They met through mutual friends at a local bar. Ethan stood out immediately. He had a way with words, a polished charm that made him seem irresistible. In the beginning, he was everything Natalie thought she wanted. He brought her coffee at work. He left handwritten notes under her windshield wipers. He surprised her with dinners. He knew how to make her feel special. Her sister Jasmine recalled, "At first, we all thought he was perfect. He treated her like a princess. We were happy she found someone who seemed to care so much." But almost from the start, there were small signs. Ethan drank heavily. He wanted to know where Natalie was at all times. If she didn't answer the phone, he would call again, and again, and again. When her friends noticed, Natalie brushed it off. "He's just protective," she'd say. "He cares about me." But underneath that protectiveness was control. It wasn't about care, it was about possession. By the end of 2020, the relationship had deepened, and so had Ethan's grip on Natalie's life. When she moved into a small apartment on Friendly Avenue, Ethan offered to help with rent. At first, Natalie resisted, but he insisted. He wanted to take care of her, he said. She accepted, thinking it was a gesture of love. But soon, that money became a chain. He reminded her constantly, "I pay your bills." Don't forget that it was no longer support, it was leverage. Natalie confided in her sister. She said she wanted to leave him, but she didn't know how. "He pays for everything," she told Jasmine. "If I walk away, I lose everything." What began as kindness had become dependency. And dependency is one of the most dangerous tools of control. By 2022, Ethan's behavior had escalated. Neighbors heard arguments through the thin apartment walls, shouting matches that lasted late into the night. One evening, a loud crash startled residents next door. A lamp had been thrown. Police were called after Ethan smashed Natalie's phone during a fight. But Natalie refused to press charges. She told officers it was just a misunderstanding. Like so many victims, she minimized the danger, perhaps hoping it would all calm down. But it didn't. Friends noticed Natalie pulling away from social life. She declined invitations. She avoided questions about Ethan. She began wearing long sleeves, even in the sweltering Carolina summers. Behind closed doors, Ethan demanded more control. He wanted her phone passwords. He checked her messages. If she came home late from work, he accused her of cheating. And yet, in public, Ethan maintained the mask of a perfect boyfriend. He showered Natalie with gifts. He posted pictures of her online with captions like, "My queen forever." He arrived at her job with flowers. He knew how to play the role. And Natalie, caught between fear and hope, continued to believe there was still love in the man she had once fallen for. March 17th, 2023 began like any other Friday. Natalie finished her shift at the daycare at 5:30 p.m. Her colleagues said she seemed cheerful, a little tired. She mentioned making pasta for dinner and watching a movie. She wanted a quiet evening. But around 6:45 p.m., Ethan showed up at her apartment carrying a bouquet of roses. Neighbors saw him smiling as he walked inside. To an outsider, it looked like romance. A man surprising his girlfriend with flowers at the end of a long week. But behind the closed door of that apartment, the night spiraled into horror. By 10:15 p.m., the shouting began. Neighbors reported hearing raised voices, so loud they rattled the walls. Something crashed to the floor. Then came a scream, sharp, desperate, unforgettable. At 11:07 p.m., Natalie sent her sister Jasmine a text message that would later haunt her family. It read, "If anything happens, I love you." It was the last message she ever sent. At 11:42 p.m., police responded to a 911 call from a frightened neighbor. When they arrived, the front door of the apartment was ajar. Inside, the bouquet of roses still sat on the kitchen counter. The lamp lay broken on the floor. Natalie was on the ground, unresponsive. Her phone was shattered nearby. Ethan was still there. His hands trembled. His shirt was torn. Officers later testified that he didn't look shocked. He muttered over and over, "She made me do it." At 12:03 a.m., Ethan Ross was placed in handcuffs. The investigation that followed revealed a chilling pattern. Detectives combed through Ethan's phone and discovered a series of controlling, threatening messages. In one, sent just days earlier, he wrote, "You owe me. I don't pay your rent for nothing." And Natalie's diary, found in her bedroom, told the other side of the story. In one heartbreaking entry, she wrote, "I feel like I can't breathe around him. I want to leave, but I don't know how." Friends and family confirmed what investigators suspected, that Ethan's charm was a mask for abuse. A co-worker recalled seeing bruises on Natalie's arm. hidden under long sleeves. Others said Natalie often looked anxious when Ethan's name came up. Detectives discovered Ethan's history with women didn't begin with Natalie. Court records showed that in 2016, a former girlfriend had filed a restraining order against him, claiming he stalked her and threatened her. The case was dismissed when she refused to testify. In 2018, he was arrested after a bar fight. He pled guilty to a lesser charge and avoided jail time. But none of that was visible to Natalie when she met him. He kept that part of himself hidden. The evidence against Ethan was overwhelming. On March 20th, 2023, he was formally charged with first-degree murder. The trial began a year later, in March 2024, at the Guilford County Courthouse. Prosecutors painted a portrait of a man consumed by control. They showed the jury Natalie's final text to her sister. They displayed crime scene photos, the shattered phone, the broken lamp, the roses still fresh in their wrapper. Jasmine testified, her voice breaking. She told me she was scared of him. She wanted to leave. She never got the chance. The defense argued diminished capacity. They claimed Ethan had snapped, that the crime was a tragic mistake born of passion. But the jury saw through it. They deliberated for just 8 hours before delivering the verdict. Guilty of first-degree murder. Ethan Ross was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For Natalie's family, the verdict brought justice, but not peace. At sentencing, her mother Angela addressed the court. She said, "No sentence will bring back my daughter, but maybe, just maybe, her story can save someone else." In the months that followed, the Harper family founded the Harper Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting victims of financial and emotional abuse. They worked with shelters and advocacy groups, focusing on women who felt trapped because of money or housing women, just like Natalie. Each year on June 14th, friends and family gather for a candlelight vigil in Greensboro. They bring flowers, not roses, but hydrangeas, Natalie's favorite. The roses Ethan brought that night faded within days, but Natalie's memory endures. Her kindness, her warmth, her love for children and family, those things cannot be erased. He bought her flowers. Hours later, he was in handcuffs. Behind the romance was possession. Behind the love was control. Natalie Harper's story is a reminder that abuse does not always begin with fists. Sometimes it begins with gifts, with words, with gestures that seem harmless but are meant to control. And when control replaces love, the danger is real. If you or someone you know feels trapped in a relationship, please reach out to domestic violence hotlines and organizations in your area. No one should suffer in silence. Natalie's story is heartbreaking, but it can also be a warning. What are your thoughts on her case? Could more have been done to protect her? Let us know in the comments below. And please, like this video, share her story, and subscribe for more true crime documentaries. Together, we can keep these stories alive and maybe prevent the next tragedy.